Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Coach Stokes from the Ring to the Concrete, courtesy of Stokes House Boxing Academy online. Today, we have another podcast, which I will be speaking to Mr. Adonis Garcia, who's the owner of the hottest up and coming boxing brand when it comes to boxing gloves, cups, hand wraps, anything and everything you want to name that you need when it comes to boxing. He has it. So check it out. Tell me what you like about it and enjoy.
To take that thought into motion. And ultimately, what I did is I went and bought a bunch of gloves from different places, different brand sizes, styles, and I just carefully started disassembling them. And I wanted to see, what exactly the difference was between each glove, what the science behind it was. And I started, trying to make my own design of a glove because I didn't really want to copy anybody. But I was trying to figure out a way to make it better. More importantly, the molding, the padding, and the support of the glove. So, needless to say, after several attempts and a lot of failures, a lot of money lost, I was able to, complete that project. I had some people here in Phoenix, some pro fighters that were helping me out, and once I got my demos complete, I would take it to these fighters and let them go at it in the gym and put in some work. And gratefully enough, they gave me raw feedback on things that needed to be tweaked, things that they preferred. And I took into consideration a little bit of everybody because everybody's different. Everybody's body works different. And ultimately, my project just came forth. So I decided to move on with it. I was lucky enough for my past history to know a couple world champions that I was able to put those gloves in their hands. People like Austin Trout, Felicia West, James like Saponi, Manny Pacquiao. So, needless to say, I had a scheduled launch date for www.adonisgarcia.com in May of this year. And at the time, I had figured we were going to just start out with some training gloves, just a few models, and see how the year progressed with that. Of course, I had a vision that we were going to take this company a long ways, but I never imagined that it would happen so fast. So basically, in end of May, June this year, I launched the website, and I had a friend of mine out in Australia that asked me if I could make some. So I made him some custom mitts, shipped them off to Australia, and I started posting all these photos on social media. The names that I had just mentioned, my friend out in Australia, other people here locally in Phoenix that are up and comers, and I started getting a lot of attention. And ultimately, what ended up happening is people from all across the world started messaging me on social media. So I started redirecting them to the website, via emails, and things just kind of took off from there. I decided that I was going to take a chance and make a pair of custom gloves and mitts for the WBC welterweight champion Danny Garcia. So I didn't ask him about anything. I just kind of brainstormed and put it together. And we went out and watched the Thurman Porter fight live in New York. And during that time, I jumped in my rental car, drove down to Philly, and I was lucky enough to meet up with Danny and Angel and his staff. And they were gracious to give us about 2 hours of their time. So I dropped the gloves off, and we just left it at that. And a couple weeks later, I get a phone call from Danny Garcia's camp asking if I'd be willing to send some more gloves out there so I can train with them. And, that just kind of progressed, and that's still, a story in the writing. A couple weeks after that, I got a call from Hollywood movie studios asking me if I would be able to design some gloves for the Hands of Stone movie that was just released in August of this year for Roberto Duran. And the catch was they needed them in 8 days. and they had no true idea about a design. They were just kind of shopping it around to different companies. So what ended up happening is that night I set up all night and I created a custom design for that, and I submitted it to the studio, and the next day they called me back and we got moving. They hired me for the job. My staff was great. They were able to get the products in time, and we shipped them out in 7 days. So we were a day early. Ended up going out to the movie premiere, and during that time, it's just been networking with everybody.
Right.
So since then, things have just been taking off for us. We've hit, 7 countries in 6 months. We got 4 world champions. Newly, Jared Swift-Hurd, who's an Alheimer's fighter, definitely going to be a world champion soon. We lucked out with meeting with him. He's been very gracious. Hillcrest Boxing out in the D.C. area, I believe they're in Maryland, has just been great with us. And, this past Friday, actually, we were invited to the PBA Awards in Washington, D.C. for their annual banquet to honor all their state champions and national champions. So we actually ended up sponsoring that event. And it's just been a great honor and privilege and a shock to see how fast this company has moved. So I'm just truly humble right now. And, I'm about 2 years ahead of projected goals as far as the company goes. I mean, it's just kind of unreal in 6 months how far we've made it. But, I'm just grateful and, working day and night to keep up with all this and changing products and continuing to upgrade our different products as far as gloves, headgears, and ultimately what it comes down to is I'm just trying to create the most affordable, highest potential product that offers everybody from world champions to amateurs the best safety equipment I can.
And I was reading on how you and your wife went to the Donaire and Rigondeaux fight, and how you ended up meeting a family member there, and then it went from there. But then how you went on to meet Rodney Hunt, and how he became a mentor to you. Was it in the beginning? Did you have ideas of becoming a promoter in the beginning, or you was just going along with the ride? You just didn't know which way you was going to go?
No, I was just going along with the ride. I mean, you mentioned the Nonito Donaire versus Rigondeaux fight. That I didn't know that night was going to change my life forever. Just a brief story on that. We went out to New York to watch that fight at Radio City Music Hall. My wife had an injured foot at the time, so we almost didn't make the fight because she had a hair cast on. And needless to say, Nonito at the time was my favorite fighter. A little disappointed after the fight ended, but we were standing outside Radio City, and I just wanted to go back to the hotel because I really felt bad for my wife, but she was insistent that we go to the side of Radio City to see if we could meet any of the, pro boxers or celebrities coming out. So I let her do her thing, and ultimately she ended up meeting Rachel Donaire's mother, which is Nonito's wife, and we sat there for about an hour and a half, and we ended up meeting some camp members, and strangely enough, they invited us on the family bus and took us to the after party. And, this story is important to me because I remember walking to this large club in Manhattan with all of Nonito's family, and I seen Nonito talking to Roy Jones Jr., and then his camp comes up to me and says, "We'll let you be the first one to talk to him." Wow. So they introduced me to Nonito, told him where I was from and how far I had traveled to go see him. And I remember that gentleman taking off his glasses and he put his arm around me and he apologized to me. And Nonito told me that he was sorry for the disappointment. He spent a lot of money to travel out there, and he assured me that he wouldn't let me down again. And so that was just something that stuck. Wow. And ultimately, I ended up starting an Instagram page that next day, and I met a gentleman from Round by Round Boxing. At the time, it was just a startup company for online boxing media and news. And I sent in rough draft article because I was just excited and interested in boxing. It was kind of like a fire out there underneath me. And, Alex Burgos, who's the chief editor there, gave me a shot to write. And so I started doing some boxing writing and follow-up articles on fights for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I took my son out to California to watch Josecito Lopez fight. And after the fight, Josecito had won, and we had made our way down to ringside. And I remember he picked up my son and took photos with him, and it was just, again, another spark that excited me. So I was like, well, I want to interview this guy. But I didn't know how to reach out to him. I mean, sometimes it's really hard to catch up with these fighters or their PR person to schedule an interview because there's so many people that want them.
Yeah.
And I was driving home from California, and I was on Instagram, and I saw a photo of Josecito backstage with a gentleman holding some gloves that they were going to give away for charity. So I messaged this gentleman on Instagram and just told him who I was and what I wanted to do. And, the next day he gives me a call, and we spend forever talking, and he's asking me all these weird questions about boxing. Mm. And I was getting a little frustrated because I wanted to get to the interview portion. But in the end, I didn't realize that he was one of the directors at Goose and Promotions. And for everybody that doesn't know, Goose and Promotions is now QGB Promotions. So all the premier boxing that you see that used to be Goose and Promotions. So this gentleman's name is Rodney Hunt. As I said before, he used to be a director at Goose. And Rodney took a liking to me and started to mentor me. Over a short period of time, we built a relationship, and he started inviting me out to fights. And he took me under his wing. He was showing me the back end of boxing because there's definitely a difference between the sport and the business. And, a lot of people don't understand. I was completely shocked when I started learning it. And, to this day, he is still my mentor and one of my best friends out there. So that kind of led me to where I'm at today. And, the being allowed to be around Dan Goosen and Rodney Hunt and a lot of the staff members there at Goosen provided me a lot of opportunity to learn a little bit about the business, learn a lot about the fighters, and see the behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get to see.
Right.
And I think that was just a calling to me. So at the time, to answer your questions, I didn't know if I was going to go the promotions route. I didn't know if I was going to go the media route. I never thought in a million years I would be a glove maker. It was just an idea at first. So I went with the ride, and, as God will have it, I separated myself from pro boxing a couple times since then, and it keeps calling me back. Like my wife said, you just got to go with it.
You sound like Chris Rock in the movie New Jack City when he's like the crack pipe just keep calling his name. Bro, I know.
Man, it just keeps calling me. I say no, and it's right there.
Yeah. I really liked how I was reading how you said Rodney had you doing odd things where it was like going driving people to the airport and bringing them back on the shuttle, or going down to fix a ring or put up a ring and things like that, and how you just went ahead and did it. It probably was easy for you, because being in the military, you get voluntold all the time for working parties, so it's like go do this, go do that. But it was just how he came on. He said, he did those things for a purpose because he wanted you to understand the front end and the back end.
Yeah, exactly. I was for a couple shows I was blessed to be sitting with the promoters in the office, and kind of gave me like a false sense of security that I was in it to win it per se. And one particular fight, Ariel Stavern fight, we were out in at the Galen Center in LA, and I was all in, dressed in my suit, ready to go, and he said, "Hey, go get your keys and start moving people from the airport back here to the hotel." And I was like, "Okay, you boss ass, that's what you do." So I did what I had to do. Came back and I figured, all right, well, I'm putting my suit back on. And nope, he said, "I need you to go over to the Galen Center and start helping with ring setup and putting an apron on." And so, I'm like, well, was he mad at me or something, But at the end of the fight, we were having dinner, and he said, conversation came up about, the things that he had me do. And I didn't complain one bit because I was just grateful to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And he said, well, the reason I had you do all these things is because if you want to know the business of boxing and making promotion, you have to know all aspects of it. It's not just the glory of, putting on a suit and walking around or having somebody else do something for you. You need to know personally exactly how many moving parts and how many people that don't get that spotlight and glory are crucial to putting on a venue like that.
Right. Definitely understand. And it sound like to me he was testing you the entire time, even from the first phone call when you said he was asking you questions, weird questions, strange questions that you like, what does this have to do with, anything. But yeah, everything is for a purpose. I was also I like the fact how you establish your company, but most importantly, how you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps, where you didn't want to take out you don't have any debt or anything. You did everything on your own. There's a lot of people out there that assume they want their own business, Adonis, and it's really tough, man. It really is, because it's not a 9 to 5. It's something that you're living entirely, and I'm learning that. And luckily my wife is very business savvy, so she stays on me. But with that being said, man, the business part, has it ever been a time where you say, you know what, is this right for me? Is this something, you have any regrets where it's like, you know what, maybe this is getting too deep for me. I don't think I need to be doing this any longer. Has there ever been doubt?
No, I have absolutely no regrets. I've never regretted anything that I've done in my life. I've definitely been remorseful for things that I've done, but I've never regretted it because I really feel that everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. So, as far as the financial part, I took a very small amount of money that I had from my own savings account, and I decided if you're going to do this, you're going to do it on your own. And my reasoning behind it is, I could probably get somebody to back the business, and I could probably be a lot bigger than I am right now. But I'm a firm believer that if you invest your own money, you're going to work a lot harder, because what you put up for risk, if you lose, it hurts. It hurts the pocket. So that's been motivation to me. As far as, feeling like this is getting too much, of course there are times where, I'm getting calls from Australia, Switzerland, Germany, and even talking to some of these world champions that are managers. It gets a little bit overwhelming, but I'm always up to a challenge. So I just try to take a deep breath and step up, with confidence, just to assure them that, I'm ready to go and I'm ready to do business. But I think the most, or the biggest thing that has been awkward to me is autographs. And it's happened within the last month and a half, where, people are asking me to sign their gloves before I ship them. Or, for example, this last weekend, I'm out there with Jared Hurd and Gary Russell Jr. and all the Russell family, which, they have a rich history in boxing, and we're backstage signing gloves, and I'm just, it's a different world for me because I've never been exposed to it. Right. But it's just important to remember why you're doing it and to be humble about it. If it makes somebody feel better, I'm all about that.
Right. And that's understandable. Yeah, I love I am a follower of you on Instagram, and I like how you put up a PSA, as I call it, the other day when you said, you know what, you didn't want to be that type of owner over a company. I'm not saying in the correct terminology as you said, but it blew you away, like how some people don't have a not a personal relationship, but where they can't reach out and talk to the owner or talk to the head people in the company, when it comes to business. And that kind of blew you away, and you were saying like you did not want to be like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I've definitely caught the attention of some larger companies, and that's not even worth discussing because we're moving forward. But nevertheless, I'm talking to a lot of fighters, family, amateurs. Um, they buy equipment from all these different places or different companies quite often, and I started asking questions as far as, is that you get your gear from? Have you met them? Has anybody from the company ever called you to check on you? And most of the time it's no. With the exception of those who are on a very high level, they get catered to quite often. But other than that, nobody else really had a relationship. They didn't know who to contact, how to get follow-up. A lot of them said they sent emails and, they never hear anything. And I don't want to be like that. My biggest vision right now is customer service. It's crucial because I certainly understand that without all of my clients, I wouldn't be existing as a CEO of this company. And, personally, I said something on Instagram. I said every world champion was once a determined amateur. And I firmly believe that. So in my book, everybody should be treated with the same respect, regardless of what level you are.
That's right.
And these world champions, they deserve what they're getting because they've earned it. But on the same sense, a 9-year-old boy and his father who have that same dream and are just starting their journey, to me, deserve that same attention and respect because for years to come, those are going to be my main clients. And I just don't feel like anybody should be put in a category per se based on the level, whether they're starting, whether they're just turned pro, or whether, they've received a belt. It doesn't matter to me. So my goal is to make sure that everybody is taken care of. A lot of people don't know that my staff runs my social media for me during the day, but every night I get on social media and I go to the messages and I look at the responses that my staff made. I see that if there's anybody that, I don't feel was given the proper attention, I check emails. That's just my own quality assurance. And I know that at some point in time, as the company grows, I'm probably going to be less involved in that for obvious business reasons. But I assure everybody that my staff will continue to have the same vision as I am. And it's kind of like the military. You talked about that open door policy. Mm-hmm. I got to figure out a way to create something that, if my staff isn't meeting the bar, where somebody could reach out to me. So those are things that are in the works right now. But, ultimately, Steve, the customer service is paramount for me.
Yeah. I definitely salute and support everything that you said, and we need more people in business like yourself to remember that the business doesn't make you, but you make the business.
Absolutely.
If that makes any sense. Well, it's that time. It's that time for me to ask you those 3 questions that I give to all my guests, brother. And that's Coach Stokes. 3 favorite questions. Now, like I tell everybody, I had my boy Kevin Ross on the show yesterday, and Kevin is a big time boxing fan, but he's the man when it comes to Muay Thai. So I'm gonna ask you, being that you're more than just you're not even a casual boxing fan. You are boxing itself. So I want to ask you this: these three questions, my brother. And like I tell everybody, don't get nervous when I ask the adults this because I have asked 6, 7, and 8 year olds at that answer this question and kill this question. So I'm interested in hearing what Mr. Adonis Garcia has to say. But Adonis, these are the three questions. It's one question, but it's three parts. When it comes to boxing, who are three boxers that that you admire, or who are three boxers that you like when it comes to who are your favorite three boxers when it comes to offense, defense, and ring generalship? So who are your favorite three boxers that you would pick? Who's the best offensive fighter? Who's the best defensive fighter? And who has the best ring generalship, like the best ring smartness to you?
Okay, well, it's a three-part question, and you asked who my favorite was.
Right.
My favorite by heart, man, I could mix that up all day. But three answers has to be Mayweather, Mayweather, and Mayweather. I don't think anybody else. And don't get me wrong, I have not supported Mayweather for a long time as far as the respect that he deserves as a boxer. But as time has progressed and I've learned more about the sport, more about the rules of boxing, more importantly, more about the purpose of boxing, I got to give that man that category all three ways. Next up, I would say, that Mayweather is not in the game. I truly believe Andre Ward is, pound for pound, the most skilled and crafted boxer when it comes to offense, defense, and ring generalship.
Okay.
And that's hard to find in a professional athlete these days. A lot of these fighters either have guts, heart, great offense, not so good defense, or vice versa. But to find the qualities that these gentlemen have straight across the board, it's unique, and they deserve that recognition.
That's right. And do you have a third person?
You said a third person.
Yeah.
I think going back in time, I would have to give my third person to James Toney. Another, a lot of people look at Mayweather for that shoulder roll, but if you look back in time to when Lights Out was, knocking people out all the time, that shoulder roll, that defense, that offense, he's a great counterpuncher and ultimately ring generalship, because if you look back at Tony's fights, there's times where his opponent thought that he was controlling the tempo or pace of the fight, but he was just being lured in.
Yeah. I totally agree with you when it comes to everybody. Floyd has brought the shoulder roll back, and I don't know how you agree with this, but everybody cannot use the shoulder roll, and I don't think everyone should use the shoulder roll unless it's something that you've been doing since, like Floyd's been doing that since he's been able to walk. So that's something natural when it comes to him. But that shoulder roll that James Toney has, oh my gosh, he didn't move nearly as much as Floyd. He would stay in the pocket, make you miss, and counter right off you.
Yep, just flip right over you. And, just like you said, I completely agree with you with Floyd. As a matter of fact, about an hour ago, I was watching some film on Floyd because I'm just diehard boxing, and that's all I do when I'm on my downtime. And I was watching him do some network, and people look at him and say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't be doing it." But it's all repetition, and that is why he's mastered it, because he continues to do it. So it's like first nature for him when he's in the ring.
That's right.
But I agree that it's not for everybody, because if you can't dedicate yourself from a young age, it's like going to college. You got to master your craft. You can't expect to jump in there and do the shoulder roll because a certain person does it, or to be an effective counterpuncher, or speed, anything.
Right.
Anybody in the game that can shoot from different angles like Manny does, and that's another great champion that deserves the utmost respect.
Well, I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate right now. I just want to ask you this: you said Floyd, and you say Manny. If that fight was to happen, it was supposed to be a rematch. Who would win?
Honestly, I think it's well. styles make fights.
Yeah.
And it's not to take anything away from Manny. Manny is a phenomenal champion. And in a perfect world, if Floyd would be willing to sit there and engage with him, I'd give Manny the victory every single time. But I just think that Floyd's craftsmanship and his style of fighting is really not conducive to Manny's style. So
right.
it just has the same result to me at every time.
Outstanding. Well, Adonis, let me wrap everything up. Let me ask you this before we conclude. How do you want to be remembered when it comes to the sport of boxing at the end of the day when it's all said and done?
Ultimately, I want to be remembered as a person that did right by people. Money's great, and this is a business, but it will come. What's important is making people happy. I could tell you flat out, the greatest feeling I've had in boxing, hands down, happened yesterday, and that was actually seeing your son with a pair of custom Adonis Garcia mitts, or gloves rather. And when he said, "Daddy, can I sleep with those?" Man, that's what it's all about. That was motivating to me. That makes me want to work twice as hard, because if I can give somebody else inspiration to become better or to work, the rest will fall into place. I'm a pretty smart man, and I know, you don't have to force things to happen. It's like a knockout, no, force it. Let it come to you. So ultimately, to answer your question, I just want to be somebody who made things better, and somebody that they could always say that guy cared, or he was willing to talk to me, or I remember when Adonis talked to me, whatever it is.
Right.
That's really what I'm looking to achieve.
Well, did you see me tag you in that picture? He definitely went to bed with him, went to sleep with him, and woke up with him, and is walking around with him. I mean, he took him over to my in-laws, to his grandparents' house yesterday, and my wife told me, I was in there, I was working with some fighters. My wife told me that Diesel was like, I guess his little 2-year-old cousin was touching him. So, Diesel had him down. He's very, very, very OCD when it comes to these gloves, I should say. He really is, man. He's about that with all his equipment, but these gloves are like his babies. So she said he looks at it, he's like, hey, don't touch my gloves. So that didn't nobody pay attention. The baby, the baby's not knowing. The babies just want to have fun. And then he comes out and he says, hey, don't touch my gloves. So then my wife would tell him, like, hey, if you want to bring these gloves over here, then people are going to look at them. You have to share them. But if you don't want your gloves to be messed with, put them in your bag. Put them in your equipment bag. And she said he put them in his equipment bag, and zipped them up. But he loves these gloves. I mean, he had headgear on this morning. The cup, of course. But I do want to tell you this. When you're ready, and I know you have somebody, and it's my man, big ups to my man Mark Robertson and Little Future, over there in Philly. I know you do got a representative, but when you're ready to have a smaller representative of a younger, small kid who wants to go ahead and rock your equipment, because Diesel's 6, he only got 2 more years when he have his first fight. You let us know, man.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be right there, brother.
I'll definitely keep you guys in mind. And with that being said, I know we're short on time, but let me just add something for everybody listening. As far as being sponsored, we get hundreds a day, people asking to be sponsored. And, I did something last night on social media to start to interact with the fans and athletes and future clients. And I just basically told them, it's not that I don't want to help you, but you got to understand that we're a growing company. Mm-hmm. And in order for me to budget sponsorship, I need everybody to interact. I need you to actually purchase some gloves or even borrow them.
That's right.
And I even tell people out there, I know sometimes financial hardships come. If it's bad, message me. I'm not going to say I'm going to give you a free pair, but I could work with you. And you can't name any company that's willing to entertain that idea.
That's right.
Ultimately, the more people that purchase gloves, that allows me to put, you're not just for champions, but for those people who are working hard and deserve it. So absolutely, I will keep Diesel in mind, just like I'm going to keep everybody else in mind out there. But we need you to support it. Talk to people about it. Your product. Don't ask to endorse something that you never used. I know once you use them, there's no going back. I mean, we make quality gloves. They're all hand cut. Our molds are hand done. We're taking things to the next level. So, that's why I always say, if you want to be a part of our family, let it be a part of yours. But let's have a common ground so that we can all build. And eventually it'd be really easy for me to, give people test gloves or help people that are, in a bind. Because, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and I had a lot of difficulty getting equipment, and I used to box in amateur, so I get it, But just for everybody out there, just know that when you communicate, I watch you, I know I may not get to talk to you directly, but I pay attention to everybody, and I appreciate everybody who supports Adonis Garcia. For all of you who are out there that may be leery, we'll give it time, and when it's time, the door's open just like it is for everybody else.
Hey, everybody, I just want to say my 2 cents worth in that I have, given Adonis Garcia and his company business, and it's been nothing but first class treatment. Adonis, you've really changed my life when it comes to my hands, because my hands used to ache all the time. My forearms would be in pain. My wife would have massage my hands. I would literally have to go to massage therapy once a week to my massage therapist, which I haven't seen in about 3 or 4 months now since I've been using your pads. But to those trainers out there, you need to listen to this, man, and be very mindful that when I tell you this, I'm very anal when it comes to my gear, and my equipment. I don't know if that's the military side of me or what, but you have to take care of all your gear. And Adonis, you know this. If you don't take care of your gear is not going to take care of you. But the hand the hand pads are crafted to the point where it's like, these are like Mercedes Benz when it comes to pads. I'm telling you, I've used all types of pads, whereas Ringside, Everlast, Rival, you name it. I've used it. I spent a lot of money when it came to pads, going through pads like crazy. But these, I ordered 2 pairs of Adonis Garcia pads. I'm going to order more. But these right here, they're so custom fit to your hands. The cushioning that goes right underneath your wrist. I have a big, long fingers, so he custom made them to my measurements. And it fits just like a glove. The craftsmanship, the quality leather is perfect. From the piping to the stitching, you name it, he's on point. So when I say, go out and support and back him, I'm not just saying it, just to give him business, but you're looking out for yourself, because this right here is an investment. Take heed to it right now, because if you don't, people, when he really blow up, it's gonna be like, dang, man, oh my goodness, it's gonna be hard. It's really gonna be hard. So I'm telling you this right now, I back Adonis Garcia and his company 150,000%, without a doubt.
Man, I really appreciate that.
Brother, no problem, man. Adonis, I really appreciate have you from the ring to the concrete today. And hey, I just hope that we can get some more in, down the line. Definitely, I hope this will be one of many, for the future.
Oh, absolutely. I thank everybody for listening. Make sure you follow us on social media. But most importantly, make sure you go to www.monsterskate.com.
Just if they want to follow you on social media, what is your social media sites on Instagram?
So on Facebook, we have it's Adonis Garcia. On Instagram, which is where we have our most following, it is Adonis Garcia Official. I also have a page on Instagram, which is Adonis Garcia CEO, and then you can catch us by Twitter at Adonis Garcia Pro.
Good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. You know, keep in contact with, follow this man, because he is blowing up immensely, I say. Adonis, thank you so much, my brother. I'll be talking to you real soon.
All right, man. Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye.
I'ma make sure you remember my name. Remember my name. You gon' remember my name. You gon' remember my name. Remember my name. Just like Mike Tyson and Cassius Clay. I'ma make sure you remember my name. You gon' 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 remember my name. Just Roy Jones Jr. and Sugar Ray. I'ma make sure you remember my name. You gon' remember my name. Remember my name. You gon' remember my name. You gon' remember my name.
This is history in the making. Raw Sports Boxing, reppin' Big Star. We got Coach Stokes, Sammy the Bull Mayhem, Headbangers Boxing, Garside Damien, Abdullah Hurricane, Noah the Bullet, Amir Bootbanger, Mouth Entertainment, and we can't forget Cousin Larry Chain for connecting them dots.
You gon' remember
Raw
my
Sports Boxing.
name. Say remember my name. Remember my name.